Hey everybody, what's going on? Harley Q here with another video, and today we are talking about why people are selling off their game collections. Now, I kind of got into this with one of my very popular videos, probably my most viewed video on the channel, about is retro game collecting still worth it? So, you guys seem to like the kind of ranty videos, so yeah. Anyway, we're gonna just kind of dive right into the topic and have like a discussion on it, and just kind of share our opinions on the matter. I watch a bunch of different game collecting channels. I watch people who have been in the collecting business for a long time, or collecting market, which would still be business. But yeah, doing the whole video game collecting thing and are starting to fall out of it. And they've expressed several reasons why. And not gonna lie, as somebody who collects, these things have gone through my head, especially when I have very, very sad months like I did back in January. The point is, sometimes when game collecting, you're not going to really find that many things, and when you run a YouTube channel and it's mainly about collecting video games and you can't find video games, it can be pretty discouraging. So anyway, yeah, I thought this would be kind of an interesting topic to get into, the whole why people are selling off their game collections, or why people are only keeping a certain amount of games, or etc, etc. So I think one of the reasons why people are definitely selling off their collections is that game collecting in general is a super expensive hobby, and it's very hard to constantly get really good grabs. And there are people who do it, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to say because some people have a lot of time on their hands where they can game collect, and some people don't, you know. And I think that's a huge part of game collecting is you have to have time, and if you don't have time to search for those deals, you're probably not going to get them. And I know for me, when I don't have time, I don't get them. A prime example would be my January collection, where I had no time to go out game hunting and whatnot, so I didn't get that many good games. I could only hit the Goodwill oh so many times in a month. So, and that kind of goes into the next point of it being a super competitive market. There are so many people who are current collectors and people who want to get into the collecting hobby, and those who have been collecting don't really collect and are collecting again. You know I have been an avid collector my whole life, but I haven't really seriously started diving into the whole collecting scene until just recently. When I say recently, within the past 5 years, seriously starting to collect, as opposed to people who've been collecting since the early 2000s. More and more people continue to get into this hobby, it becomes very saturated. You can say the same thing with comic books. For a very long time, it was a struggle to get comic books. Not so much now. People still are collecting comic books and whatnot, but there was a couple years ago where comic books were the thing to collect for. I have a whole room downstairs of basically comic books, so I would know. I think one thing people don't realize with game collecting is you need a spot to put these things, and if you're not using them, they are taking up a lot of space. I literally have a game room. It's my living room. I have a game room tour. We are getting ready to shoot the 2021 game room tour, which I'm super excited for. I have to buy more bookshelves because my coffee table is just covered in video games. I definitely need a better organization system, but this is definitely something that people seem to not realize when they start game collecting is, at first you can start with a small collection, and if you're constantly buying games like I am, you will run out of space very quick. Keep that in mind if you are getting into collecting, and this is one of the reasons why people are selling off their collections, is they just can't keep everything. And some people will simply just keep the games that they know they're going to play. So they'll keep their favorite things for favorite systems, and also, systems take up a lot of space too. I have a whole bookshelf of just my video game systems, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a pain in the butt to like pull out my system, set them up on the TV. I don't exactly have the best setup for my systems just yet, of just being able to plug them in or turn them on and play them. I know people have converters and whatnot. I really need to start looking into having my things set up that way, because right now, as it is, it's just I take the system that I want to play and I hook it up to wherever I'm going to play it, and then we go from there. But definitely need to look into that. But again, it takes up space to be able to do that, and it takes a lot of money to be able to do that. And as much as I like to try and be a bargain channel about getting deals and stuff, in reality, there are games that are going to be expensive. There are systems that are going to be expensive to buy for. So I won't lie to you. These deals are out there. They're not saying they're not, but it is a little bit more difficult to get them constantly, is my point. So yeah, people are generally keeping the ones that they actually use, and I kind of got into this with the looking for those deals. Is it takes a lot of time, and some people notice that they're not playing games anymore and they could potentially make money off of selling their collection, or they just don't see a point in collecting anymore. Especially if you just don't have time to dedicate to games, it could be, very discouraging, I will say the least. Another thing is we have so many emulators now and ports. We have a lot of games that are being remastered and remade for modern systems, and if you don't see yourself ever playing the original Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation, and you decide you're going to get it for your PS4, and you think that that's going to be the better experience, then that's basically a $30 to $40 game that's just chilling on your shelf that, either could be making you money or is basically just taking up space. Basically what I'm getting at is there are so many ways to play some of these older games, and sometimes playing it on these different systems or through an emulator are actually the best experience to play them. So some people would rather just emulate these games and be able to emulate any game that they want. Instead of paying $100+ to play Earthbound, they can emulate it on their computer for, well, I won't say free, but free. I have no plans on selling off any of my collection. I do sell some of the things that I get, mainly if they're doubles. I generally will not pick up a game with the intent to strictly sell it. I will find games that I know are going to be valuable. Like I just got Mario Kart for the Wii, and I do plan on selling it. Sometimes with game collecting, you have to make small, little, tiny investments to make bigger investments. At least if you're someone as poor as me. So what I do is I'll spend $5 on a game so I can invest that and get that money back to pay for the $30 to $40 that I spent on games, which I definitely should not be spending on games. So that's just one thing, but I don't see myself selling off any of the games that are permanently in my collection. Generally, if I buy a game, it's permanently in my collection unless I need to buy a better copy of it. I do this cycle thing where I will get a copy of a game and it will not be the best version of that game. And at some point, I will get the better case or get the better disc or get the manual. I will put it together. I do go for a complete in box the first time around, but if it is cheaper for me to do it this way and it's my way to get my hand on that game, I'm just gonna do it that way. And that's just how I do it, because I am all about saving money, because in this kind of market, in this kind of hobby, you spend a lot of money without even realizing it. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't know what you guys feel about this. This is such an interesting topic. I've kind of touched on a lot of these things before with my other videos, and I definitely see myself touching on it again because it's kind of a reoccurring theme within the game collecting community. And yeah, so make sure to leave a like on this video, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment below. I had a point I was going to say. What are your opinions on this matter? Are you new to game collecting and you're kind of turned off by the whole idea of people already leaving the whole game collecting thing, or does this make you more motivated to kind of prove those people wrong that they gave up on game collecting and they should keep going? That's my motivation. I like to be the one who's, when someone tells me like, oh, you can't do this, I'm over there like, haha, yeah, okay. But that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, tell me what your opinions are below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch, where I stream sometimes. I'm trying to stream a lot more, guys. Life is hard. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Those are my dogs. Make sure to give me a like for the dogs because, dogs.